nails all over her nose. Okay, I don't remember it, but fine. She was clever and kind, and she loved to tell jokes. Do you remember Cinderella that loved to tell jokes? Because I don't think so. She was very unhappy. Her father and mother had died. Wait, her father didn't die in the original story, but to be honest, when I see the father doing nothing to help Cinderella, I'm glad that in this story he's dead. I'm glad, because now it has a meaning. It does make sense, her father being alive and not doing anything to protect Cinderella. Her father and mother had died, and Cinderella lived with her stepmother and two stepsisters. Although they all lived in a big house, they were actually quite poor. Their money was nearly gone. Cinderella's stepmother wanted one of her daughters to marry a rich man so they would no longer be poor. But Cinderella's stepsisters were not as pretty as Cinderella, not as kind as Cinderella, not as funny as Cinderella. The men who came to the house always fell immediately in love with Cinderella and never noticed the stepsisters. This frustrated the stepmother, so she ordered Cinderella to do all the chores. Sweep the hallway, demanded the stepmother. Clean the kitchen, cook our dinner, tidy our bedrooms, mop the bathroom, wipe the windows. Quick, hurry. The stepmother tried hard to make Cinderella miserable. The stepsisters had beautiful dresses and shoes, but Cinderella's dress was made of old rags. The stepsisters always ate the most delicious foods, but Cinderella always ate crabs. And the stepsisters slept in their comfortable beds in their bedrooms, but Cinderella slept on a straw bed on the kitchen floor. No, she was near the chimney, I think. She should be near the fireplace. She should be, but no. Because her name came because she was sleeping near the fireplace. Wait, we will see. The animals were Cinderella's only friends. In the evening, she sat beside the fireplace, that's why, in the kitchen, and told jokes to the family of mice. What? She's crazy. She tells jokes to the family of the mouse. First of all, why do they have mice? Mice in the house? Do something. But no. She needs the mouse because it's her only friend. Okay. She talked to the cat. They had one cat and the mice in the eyes. Who are you? Stammered Cinderella. I'm your fairy godmother. I'm your fairy godmother, said the old woman. You are an orphan, and all orphans have a fairy godmother. Where were you all this time? I mean, she came now. Your parents died long ago. Where was she when the stepmother told her told Cinderella to do all the chores? Where was she? She should appear then, hit the stepmother on the head with her magic wand. End of story. Or take Cinderella with her to the fairyland. I don't know. The fairy godmother stroked the cat. This cat tells me how kind you are. The only thing cat has said was meow. And how you always wish for things to get better one day. Today is that day. Let's see. You are going to the king's ball. Fetch me a pumpkin. Cinderella ran into the garden and picked a big orange pumpkin. The fairy godmother touched the pumpkin with her magic wand, and it turned into a golden carriage. Come here, little mice. The mice. She said to the mice in the wall. She waved her wand again, and the mice turned into 6 beautiful horses to pull the carriage. But I don't have a dress, said Cinderella. Stand still, said the fairy godmother. She waved her wand again, and Cinderella's dirty clothes turned into a spectacular silver dress. 2 beautiful glass shoes appeared on Cinderella's feet. How is he going to dance with glass shoes? How? It's painful even to dance even with the regular dance shoes. That they are made for that reason, for dancing, and it's very painful. Okay, now go to the ball, said the fairy godmother, but you must be home by midnight. When the clock strikes 12, your dress will turn back into rags and your carriage will turn back into a pumpkin. Have fun. What fun? Go home before 12. What the What kind of magic do you have that is finished on midnight? Are you even a fairy? Make your magic permanent. Okay, and with another flash of light, the fairy godmother disappeared. I'm going to the ball, said Cinderella. Meow, said the cat. I love conversations with cats. They have so many things to say, meaningful. At the king's ball, the prince was very bored. He felt like he had danced with every young lady in the kingdom. All of the ladies were wearing beautiful dresses, but none of the ladies were interesting. None of them understood his jokes. Wow, the prince is a stand-up comedian. Good. The prince had just finished dancing with one of Cinderella's stepsisters when the room suddenly fell silent. Everybody turned to look at the most beautiful girl. As the most beautiful girl walked through the door, she had long red hair and kind green eyes. Her dress was silver, her shoes sparkled like they were made of glass. Maybe because it is, but I don't know. They are. was Cinderella, but nobody recognized her, not even her stepmother and stepsisters. The prince's mouth dropped open. He had never seen a woman as beautiful as Cinderella. He asked her to dance. They danced together all evening. The prince thought Cinderella was beautiful, but also kind, clever, and funny. She laughed at his jokes, and he laughed at hers. Okay. Cinderella was having such a wonderful time that she didn't notice that it was so late. The clock began to chime midnight. Dong, dong, dong. Oh no, I have to leave, gasped Cinderella, and she ran out of the ballroom. Don't go. I don't even know your name, shouted the prince, but Cinderella was already gone. Cinderella fled from the palace so fast that she lost one of her glass shoes on the stairs. When she got to the bottom of the stairs, the clock finished chiming midnight. Cinderella's beautiful dress turned back into rags, and her golden carriage turned back into a pumpkin. Just then, she saw the prince running towards her, holding the glass shoe she had dropped. She didn't want him to see her dressed in the dirty old rags. She felt ashamed, but there was nowhere to hide. Excuse me, miss, he said, panting. Did you see where that beautiful girl went? This is her shoe. I must find her. The prince didn't recognize Cinderella without her beautiful clothes. What the fuck? Didn't she notice her face? Her face. Cinderella shook her head. The prince ran off to continue his search. Cinderella walked all the way home. 3 weeks passed. The prince couldn't sleep. He could not stop thinking about that beautiful girl at the ball. He waited for her to return to the palace, but she didn't return. He waited for her to send a letter, but no letters came. Finally, in desperation, he gave the glass shoe to a trusted messenger and ordered him to visit every house in the kingdom. Find the girl who this shoe belongs to and bring her to me. Like it's a unique size of a shoe. No other girl wears this size of shoe. How? How is that possible? The messenger visited hundreds of houses. At every house, woman claimed the glass shoe was theirs, but when they tried on the shoe, their feet were too big, or too wide, or too small. Finally, the messenger arrived at Cinderella's house. Cinderella's stepmother opened the door. Of course, come in. She sent the messenger into the dining room. She led the messenger into the dining room where the 2 stepsisters were waiting. The oldest sister said, "Thank God, that's my shoe." But when she tried the shoe, her foot was too wide. The younger sister said, "Silly sister, it's not your shoe, it's my shoe." But when she tried the shoe, her foot was too small. The stepmother said, "Get out of the way, girls. It's not your shoe, it's my shoe." And she tried the shoe, but her foot was too long. "Oh, how silly," said the stepmother. "The shoe must have shrunk in the rain." What rain? But the messenger was not so easily fooled. "Are there any other women in this house?" he asked. "No one but our serving girl, and the shoe is certainly not hers," said the stepmother. "Fetch her immediately. Every woman in the kingdom must try the shoe." insisted the messenger. When Cinderella arrived in the dining room, she was wearing her usual rags and her face was covered in dirt. She put her dirty foot into the glass and amazing. It wasn't too wide, it wasn't too long. It fit perfectly. In a quiet voice he said, "It's my soup." "Please come with me," said the messenger, and before Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters could stop them, the messenger hurried Cinderella out of the door and into a carriage. Cinderella was taken to the palace to meet the prince. She was still wearing her dirty old clothes, and her arms, legs, and face were dirty. She looked at the floor because she felt so ashamed. The prince took Cinderella's hand. "Miss, please look at me," he requested kindly, and when she lifted